Hello, it's Saturday, January 15th, and finally the Justice Department has announced charges of seditious conspiracy against 11 men who were involved in the riot on January 6th. Those 11 men included Stuart Rhodes, a disbarred lawyer from Granbury, Texas, who founded and leads the far-right Oath Keepers. Now, just so we understand, we must understand what seditious conspiracy really means. Now, this is under the federal code, number 2384. Under that code, the definition is very long and covers a lot of different segments of what sedition could be. So I'll give you a shortcut, and then we'll give you some idea of the difference between sedition, insurrection, and treason. So seditious conspiracy involves two or more people contemplating, advocating, or engaging in the use of force against the government. Simply stated, sedition is language intended to incite insurrection against the government. Now, insurrection itself involves armed uprising against the government. And treason involves betrayal. Someone who owes allegiance to the United States, yet levies war against them, or gives information to the enemy, giving the enemy aid and comfort. That's treason. And the framers of the Declaration put that in the Constitution to focus on offenses against the state rather than against the king at that. So in any event, that's what we're looking at global. But I'm very excited by the mere fact that we have come out and charged 11 people with actions that have caused us to contemplate a possible civil war. In fact, the leader of the Oath Takers said if they didn't get things straightened out on January 6th, then there would be a civil war. Now think about that. Think about somebody declaring that he's going to engineer a civil war. Think about the mere fact that we had a president who never won the popular vote, lost the popular vote in 2 different elections. Yet he was the president because of our electoral college for one term, and he lost the second term in the electoral college and in the majority. Yet he proclaimed fraud, and all of these people went out and attacked the Capitol on January 6th, raising banners that said, "Stop the steal, stop the steal." And so now, almost a year later, well, more than a year later from January 6th, but almost a year later from the day that Biden took the presidency, we finally have an action declaring sedition. And it's about time. It's taking far too long for us to get to this position. It's taking far too long for us to gather up all this information and put it together and get the right people. So we've charged 11 people with sedition. But we've got 700 people charged with one thing or another. And we've sent 200 people to jail or something like that. It's hard. We don't get any information, any real concrete information about really what's going on. And as I've said many, many times before, we, the United States of America, are in trouble. And we're in trouble because there is a midterm election coming up in 2022. And Biden has the lowest rating in a long, long time for any president. His rating right now is even lower than Trump's was at some point in time. So we're looking at that. We're looking at 2022, the midterm election. And that could turn the the entire country upside down, because if the Republicans gain Congress, gain a majority in Congress, then this committee, this January 16th committee, will be destroyed. It will be gone. And I don't know, but I'm sure there are some Senate seats that are up for election too in 2022. I haven't done that research. So it's conceivable that not only could the Democrats lose the majority that they hold in Congress, they could also lose the majority that they don't hold. It's a fluky majority in the Senate. But they could lose that too. And it's if they don't even have a majority in the Senate, because they've got two Democratic senators who just refuse to do anything that'll move this country forward. They're against the filibuster. They're against everything that Biden is trying to do. They were against most of the things that were in the Better Bill Back, whatever America, in the relief package also. But that passed because 17 Republicans came over on that bill and said, yes, the infrastructure bill was good to go. But those two Democratic senators, I don't know which way they voted on infrastructure, but they were not happy about it. And I don't get where they're coming from, in a sense that this country needs to be united. And splits of any kind are almost unforgivable. So in any event, I am glad that the Justice Department finally stepped up and did something very, very positive. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just takes a long, long time to build a perfect case or a winning case. So I'm hoping that we get more charges of sedition and more people charged that way, because maybe then the rest of this population will stand up and pay attention to what's going on, which I seriously doubt. So while I'm happy about the charges that were brought, I have to recognize that sedition is not an easy thing to prove in court. And these charges, this indictment, is only the very beginning of the case. And there are many more so-called hoops that the prosecutors will have to jump through to get a victory in court. But this is the critical first step. This is a major first step. And it destroys once and for all the talking behind the backs of the Justice Department that they were not doing their jobs because nobody had been charged up to this point. But now they've overcome that. And so now it remains to get that people into court and to prove once and for all that there was sedition, and to prove that the leader of our country was one of the major instigators. And for that, they'll need the papers from the National Archives, which are being tied up by our former president in the Supreme Court right now, trying to get those papers released. But the Justice Department has thousands of pages of documents that they've gone through to get to this point. So hopefully, we will have a conviction or a trial, at least get these people to trial, before the committee has to be disbanded because the Democrats have lost the 2022 election. So this time frame is hanging over everybody's head like a guillotine. And I leave you once again today to think about that. And I'll see you in the morning. Bye.